United States. However, later, the 1910 International Women's Conference suggested and earmarked the 8th of March each year as the International Women's Day to be celebrated all over the world. So each year, people from various countries celebrate 8th March as the International Women's Day with love and humor for womanhood. Aren't we proud? Yes, we are. For the United Nations, the 2023 theme for International Women's Day is digital, innovation and technology for gender equality, highlighting gender gaps in STEM, education and the careers, and calling attention to the online harassment many women and young girls face. So, ladies and gentlemen, very good and warming Monday to everyone assembled. Privileged to host the International Women's Day event held by Paradise Foundation, Child Fund the Gambia, the Government of the Gambia, Action Aid the Gambia, Child Protection Alliance, and the United Nations Fraternity. Initially, it's my pleasure to welcome you all. I hope our guests on the high table are ready to come up so that we can start the event. Please, you are highly welcome. For the first session, we'll have Mrs. Tabusar, representing Action Aid the Gambia. Please take your seat. We'll have Mrs. Naomi Williams, Deputy Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Gender, Children, and the Social Welfare. We'll have Rohin Jai, a youth representative, to join, also on the high table. Bajan Louis Job and Bajan Amijatan Jai, community leaders, please join us. Usay Sise, President, Voice of the Young. Although we are celebrating IWD, we have our counterpart sex to accomplish and accompany us through the journey. I have the singular honor to invite Dr. Mustafa Bite, Director of Health Services, Ministry of Health, and Mr. Ibrahim Sisao, Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education. Gentlemen, thank you so much for accepting to accompany the ladies as we celebrate IWD 2023. To start the program, we would like to call upon Mrs. Tabusar from Action Aid to shed light and discuss on women's voices on IWD 2023, reflecting on the risks of sexual exploitation and drug abuse amongst young people in the context of civil works and the digital space. Before Mrs. Tabu comes in, how many hours did you spend on TikTok yesterday? Or Facebook? Volunteers, how many hours? All right, before I announce the answers,
Many.
2 hours, thank you. That's closer to my answer. Before I announce, I'm just reminded that we need to follow the usual protocols and we need to pray. Thank you for the reminder. Can we have somebody to lead us in prayers? Otherwise, we can pray in our individual ways. Okay, let's take 1 minute to have silent prayers to bless this occasion. Amen. Amen. I got answers 2 hours closer to my guess. On average, we spend more than 2 hours a day on social media platforms. We watch images all over the world with funny details at times. While we used to get almost all our information from the TVs and the newspapers in the past, today, we get almost all of the vital information from the filters of social media platforms. Yes. Thank you. We have a volunteer who wants to lead us in prayers. Thank you so much. We accept it.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين اللهم أنت رب لا إله إلا أنت عليك توكلت وأنت رب العرش الكريم ما شاء الله كان ما لم يشاء لم يكن لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم أعلم أن الله لا كل شيء قدير وأن الله قد أحاط بكل شيء علما اللهم إني أعوذ بك من شر النفس من شر كل دابة تكجبنا شاته إن رب لا صراط المستقيم أعوذ بكلمات الله تامات من شر ما خلق أعوذ بكلمات الله تامات من شر ما خلق أعوذ بكلمات الله تامات من شر كلما أوقدوا النار للحرب أطفأ الله كلما أوقدوا النار للحرب أطفأ الله كلما أوقدوا النار للحرب أطفأ الله سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون والسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين. السلام عليكم.
Thank you so much, Imam. Amen. Auntie Tabu, it's all yours. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Musu. Good morning, everyone. As I stand here this morning, seeing the beautiful women and the girls, and of course the men, our he for she's, I feel very proud to be associated with the feminine group. It has been a struggle, as Muso has said, but I think together we can do it. Good morning to everyone, and happy Women's Day to each and every one of you. Even though yesterday was dedicated as the day, but I always say every day we should celebrate women. Because every day women strive, women work for the survival of their children, their families, their communities. And I'm happy that it is recognized worldwide, but it should be recognized every day. This morning, I am tasked to talk about the digital space that we all enjoy. Before I start, I am Tabunjai Sar. I work for Action Aid and also agenda advocate. I advocate for the rights of both men and women, boys and girls, but with a special focus on women. Now, the digital space, with this year's theme, Digital Innovation and Technology for Gender Equality. That's the team, that's the UN team. But in the Gambia, as we have our dialogue today, we have set up our own team. Because International Women's Day is to take reflection of the achievements of women over the years, but also the challenges that women face as well. And in this particular theme, we discuss within ourselves as a task force committee that it is important we look at the challenges that we face as a nation, but more so as women, because our children are being exposed to the technology, and the technology can be positive, but there are negative challenges as well. And this is what we are supposed to discuss today, with the lineup of other topics that we brought panelists from diverse backgrounds and with the knowledge and expertise to share their thoughts and their experiences, so that at the end of the day, we can come up with a solution on how to use the internet effectively and to get the innovations out of it so that it can help us as a developing country. And this is what we are expecting from our panelists. So, but just to give a gist about what this discussion will be, I'll just do the introductory remarks. Increased internet penetration in Africa over the past decade has unlocked numerous opportunities, helping economies to blossom and increasing access to learning and educational opportunities. But this digital takeover isn't without its pitfalls. Just as the adoption of digital banking leads to more cybercrime attacks, increased internet access leaves our children more vulnerable to online harm, including sexual exploitation and abuse. Jigéen ñi fi nekk tey maa ngi leen a sargal parce que bési démba moom dañ jagleel bési jigéen ñi, waaye man dama dee wax ne bés bu nekk bési jigéen la, parce que bés bu nekk jigéen a ngee daw pour lum yóbbu ci njabootam, pour lum yóbbu ci dëkkandoor yi, pour lum yóbbu pour askan wi. So bés bu nekk rek dañ war a ormaar wala cëral wala sargal jigéen. Suñ waxtaani tey bii nag aju na ci te bokka topics yu bari la ñoo deal with, topics yu bari la ñoo waxtaanee fii, parce que jataay bii tey jataay waxtaan la sotti wante xalaat ndax ñu mun a seet naka la ñoo mun a jàppalantee en tant que jigéen. Parce que gis nañ ne internet bi dëgg la am na yu baax yu cee génna, ñu ngi cee jëriñoo lu baree bari sax ndax am bataaxal bi ci at bii nii mooy lu jëm ci mbiri internet bi, maanaam xarala yu bees yi ñoo use pour mun a jëm kanam. waaye nag ba tey nag am xarala yi tamit am na ay gàllankoor yoo xam ne aju na ci te ñun jigéen ñi ci suñ boppa dinañ ci dee xaw a soona parce que suñ jaboot yi ñooy use internet bi. soo ci kaw loolu ñu indi ay nit ñoo xam ne seen xam-xam màcc na ci topic si ñoo waxtaanee yépp tey pour ñu mun a sotti wante xalaat mun a seet naka la ñoo aaree naka la ñoo jàppalee suñ njaboot gi. parce que dañ ne bési jigéen ñi te bési jigéen ñi nekkut ne rek dañoo xumbal, dinañ xumbal parce que jigéen ku nekkaa moom war nga koo ndamboo, waaye benn tey tamit dinañ seet tamit li nga xam ne mu ngi ñoo gaañ ñu seet naka lañ koo saafaraa. Nowadays, abuse is more prevalent in Africa, and the Gambia is no exception. The usage of the internet by children and young people has also sent waves of the need to converge and talk about its harm, influence, and abuse of the superhighway. Online communication has increased, yes, but the consequences can be very expensive. And the future for individuals, families, communities, and countries can be dire. Of recent, some videos through TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, etc. have gone viral within the country, exposing sex of very young children between the ages of 9 and 12, and also a group of young people on a pool party, just to name a few. Every day, people are exposed to nude pictures and actions on our mobile phones, which are viewed by millions of people around the world, with comments either positive or negative. Minors today find themselves exposed to locking ganja anytime they go online, whether it's to chat or catch up on social media or play a game. The internet has become a friend, teacher, and part of our culture, with its inventory of mode of communication, such as emailing, Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram, LinkedIn, and blogging. So, is the internet not a Trojan horse for our development? It's a question that we'll be asking ourselves today. Because it has evaded values, sutura amatut, it has increased insecurity and serenity that we once enjoyed. February 7th is Safe Internet Day. And the theme this year is Together for a Better Internet. Call on everyone, governments and policymakers, civil society organizations, to take companies, regulations and laws enforcement, parents and teachers to protect children from the rapidly growing menace. As we celebrated International Women's Day with the theme Digital, Innovation and Technology for Gender Equality, which, when linked to our discussion today, is apt and timely because we face today as a country, social media usage by our young people is more violent, muddy, unkind, and unresponsive to peace. People find social media to attack, insult, castigate, and share images that are against our values and erodes our social fabric, and make us and our families very vulnerable. We have the obligation to use the internet and social media responsibly, and must equip ourselves with the tools and information. We are obliged to arm ourselves and our children with the knowledge needed to keep them safe online. Many of our children use social media, internet without parental consent. As parents, it is important for us to know how much screen time our children are exposed to and how they are using it. Ndaham internet bi amna njëriñ lool, amna fu ñoo yóbbu ci kanam, waaye amna tamit foo xam ne mu ngi ñu faa géttin. Te foog naa ne comme que ñun ay kilifa lañ, ay njiit lañ, foog naa am na ñu ñoo mun a taxawee pour aar suñ njaboot pour ëllëg. Parce que internet bi képp koo xam ne toog nga fii muy yaay muy student muy kilifa muy xale yi ndaw yi sax dinañ use internet te am na yoo xam ne ñu ngi ko faa gis du loo xam ne luñ xamoon la te baax na pour ñu indi ay regulations, baax na pour ñu waxtaanee ko seet naka la ñoo saafaraa lii. Jokkalante bi wax dëgg gaaw na yomba na waaye am na tamit foo xam ne dinañu fa dee gaañ parce que ci li ngaa jëndee internet li ngaa jëndee mégabytes xaalis la te amoon na fu mu xëcc ci njaboot gi te lu mel nii dinañ ko fi waxtaanee tey. One can access any information on anything from the internet and use social media to transmit it to anyone. It is very open and there is no control or restrictions to it. Video share range from and not limited to sex images, violence, bomb making, insults, etc. We need to stop. Open dialogues as we are doing today and find solutions so that social media and the internet can benefit us as it has a great potential to turn things around us, empower our children through STEM, fighting diseases, economic development, rural development, solve the many challenges that we are faced with. The topics chosen to be deliberated on are so interlinked and affect us all as a country. We are discussing based on our realities of the challenges we have faced as mothers, sisters, wives, aunts, grandmothers, and women leaders. As we reflect on the gains of social media, which can be a turnaround for our development, it's also important to take stock of its advantages to find solutions to them, especially when it's affecting the cream of our society, young people. Therefore, I must take the opportunity to thank each and everyone present here today to discuss honestly on the issues we need to talk about as a country. The information we see and receive from social media is overwhelming and scary. Tiital na képp koo xam ne kilifa nga. Tiital na képp koo xam ne yaa ngi amee njaboot. Parce que li nga gis ci social media bi fi mu nekk ay saaga ay haste ay jëf ju ñaaw loo xam ne xamuñ ko woon te baax na comme ni ma ko waxee woon ñu waxtaan si. Government, regulators, and policymakers must build and enforce structures to protect everyone, especially children, from abuse of all sorts. Actions should include strengthening mechanisms for people to report cases of online abuse and making them more accessible. There should be web-safe and responsible use of social media for our children. Because xale yi ñoom lañ yaakaar ëllëg xale yi ñoo amee suñ ëllëg xale yi ñoo amee réew mi ëllëg te foog naa ne xale yi toog war nañoo def luñ mun ci suñ doole pour gis ne xale yi nii aar nañ leen jàppale nañ leen ba won leen ci yoon bi nga xam ne moom lañ war a jaar pour ñu dimbale Gambia ëllëg jërë ngeen jëf.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Tabu Sar. I appreciate the dynamics you've given, and we appreciate the way you were able to move between English and the Wolof language so that everybody here can be able to understand what we are discussing. Going forward, I want to now invite Mrs. Naomi Williams, the Deputy Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Children, Gender, and Social Welfare. Mrs. Williams, I appreciate if you can keep it very short. Thank you. We have 5 minutes for you.
Thank you, Madam Chairperson. Distinguished personalities on the days, senior government officials here present, panelists, religious leaders here present, women groups, youth representatives, students, ladies and gentlemen. A very good morning to you all. It gives me pleasure to make an opening statement on this auspicious occasion on behalf of the Honorable Minister of the Ministry of Gender, Children, and Social Welfare, as well as the Permanent Secretary who was invited to make this statement. But unfortunately, they are not here. They are engaged with other very important, they're out of the country, engaged on other very important official events. That's the CSW, the 67th session of the CSW in New York. I'm supposed to make a statement on the topic, welfare of young people, the role of the Ministry of Gender, Children, and Social Welfare. Let me first of all commend PF Initiative and its partners to come up with this laudable initiative to organize this forum, which will attempt to address the growing concern faced by young people in this age of digitalization. Young people are engaged in all forms of risky behaviors in the era of technology, in this our era of technology, be it sexual abuse, use of harmful drugs, cyberbullying, you name it. Therefore, the theme, empowering women and girls to make positive choices, could not be more apt. Ladies and gentlemen, each year on the 8th of March, International Women's Day is celebrated worldwide. This is a day set aside by the United Nations to assess the achievements of women and girls, review challenges, and map the way forward. This day is commemorated with the objective to highlight the economic and social promotion of gender equity, equality, and the empowerment of women and girls on all spheres of governance, which is one of the strategic priority areas in the NDP of the government of the Gambia. That's the National Development Plan. Ladies and gentlemen, in 2019, the government of the Gambia established an independent ministry with a mandate to contribute to the development of the Gambia through this principle of equity, inclusiveness, equality, protecting the rights of women and children, and the integration and protection of vulnerable and excluded groups, including people living with disability. With growing concerns on child protection issues, it led to the establishment of a Children's Affairs Directorate under the ministry, which seeks to promote the development of a coalition of efforts in transforming services, providing child protection and development in the Gambia, as well as ensuring equal access for youth of both sexes to useful, affordable, and quality technical and vocational skills. As part of the efforts towards child protection, the ministry has a hotline for reporting cases of violence against children and a survivors center for case engagement or management. In line with the National Child Protection Strategy 2016 to 2021, our program supports the SCOs and other partners to create and maintain an environment where all children receive comprehensive protection that contributes to the achievement of their full potential and participates in their protection from violence, abuse, neglect, and sexual exploitation. The ministry also provides social welfare services, family tracing, and reunification services for survivors of sexual and gender-based violence. We have developed and validated standard operation procedures, SOPs, on case management for vulnerable children, coordinate child protection sensitization with community, child protection committees, and the Community on Violence Prevention Against Children to reinforce community child protection systems throughout the country. Provision of counseling services to the clients and caregivers on child protection issues and responsive parenting programs throughout the country. We have also formulated legal frameworks in promoting the rights and welfare of women and girls. With all the above in place and other policy instruments of the Gender and Social Welfare Directorates of the Ministry, you will agree with me that the government of the Gambia has registered tremendous progress towards the empowerment of women and girls and will continue to do more. In conclusion, children who have been abused, be it online or in their physical environment, may experience difficulty in learning and socialization, compromising their ability to become productive adults and citizens, therefore hindering their positive contributions to society. Therefore, there is need for our concerted efforts to end or combat these ills. Action today will not only prevent the devastating intergenerational, social, and economic impacts of violence on children, families, and communities, it will also help to address the wider impacts of COVID-19 and support progress towards multiple sustainable development goals. Because with COVID-19, you all know that we experience a lot of these, ills, because they were locked up. Most families were locked up. We had higher cases of gender-based violence, early child marriages, you name it. Before I take my seat, I would like to thank the SEOs, the SEO fraternity, and UN agencies, sister ministries, the media houses, and all other developmental partners for this giant step in addressing social media negative impact on women and children in the country. I wish you all a successful discussion. After this opening, I'm sure you will engage in the real dialogue. And pray that you will achieve your expected outcomes at the end of the dialogue. Let me also join my sister here to wish all the phenomenal women out there a happy International Women's Day. And to the men for also supporting us. Thank you all for your kind attention. Thank you, Madam.
Thank you, Ms. Naomi Williams, for that perspective as we open up the discussions. I now have the honor to invite Dr. Mustafa Abite, Director of Health Services, Ministry of Health, to share his perspective on the theme. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Madam Chairperson. I know the time we have is very short, but we will have to use the opportunity to recognize and greet the important personalities here. It's a big pleasure and honor for me to sit with you on this platform. We also recognize all the religious leaders, senior government officials, and all who are present here, ladies and gentlemen, the media. We really appreciate you coming to join all of us to discuss a very important theme on a very important week. And we want to use this opportunity to wish every woman here a happy Women's Day. So for us, the other half, or less than half part of the population, we are very happy to be with you on this journey. For example, for the Ministry of Health, our first priorities, if you look at our strategy document, our policy, what we are doing is that we want to make sure that the maternal morbidity and mortality is reduced because it's unacceptably high. In 2013, it was 433. Now it's gone to 289. Other countries are having 6 per 100,000, 8 in very developed countries. We are aiming probably by 2030 to reach 70. So we have a long way to go, and this is a big priority for us. But the team is very important because we are talking about technology, which nowadays we cannot go without. Once NAWEC goes off or the line has a problem, it seems there's chaos in the country. We know how women importance cannot be emphasized as well. But health is not just the absence of disease, but we also have to be, it involves the well-being, the general well-being, social, spiritual, mentally, all of the individual. And we all recognize that technology has brought a lot of good in health. For example, now at the Ministry of Health, we are trying to have what we call electronic medical record system. It's going to help us to reach a wider group. It's going to help us to reach women who are at home to access services. It will help us to reach women who are very busy at work and can't come to the hospital. They can start registering, interact with us. Their medical records can be with them, within their phones and all, so that they don't have to carry a lot of things. They can have their year's history with them with just an app. So if you have 4 kids, everything would be there. It's not like you have to go, like my mom has to do, to find my, what they call, Katie nurse, because it's a long time ago. So this would be there, and it will ease the burden on our women folks. It's also brought about what we are working on now in the Ministry of Health. We call it results-based financing or performance-based. What we've seen is that this will be able to give our people target, to say that your community is this group. You have these women that are under your catchment area, and every time you see them, we have records to show us whom you have seen, and it will improve the productivity of our staff. So these are benefits, a huge lot of benefits that we have. You can have question and answer sessions directly with very relevant people online, just in your bedroom, asking Dr. Bitey or any other gynecologist, your problems, your symptoms, and you can be referred. So one of the good ones I've seen, which is also very difficult for us at Ministry of Health, but it's good because it keeps us on our toes, is that now for example, maternal mortality, there's a big row, which is correct. People come out to say. Before, you'll have a lot of maternal mortality. It's only when we do reviews after 3 months that you see, all this number died. But now, which is very right, if one person dies, everybody gets to know, and you put the pressure. I see our National Assembly members here. They are here. You recognize them. So you put pressure because they share the cake. So you make you call us to action. Dr. Bitey, why is this woman dying? How can a woman die in this country? What is happening? Then we have to look at all the reasons why this woman died and make sure that it doesn't happen again. And where we have to take interventions, we take interventions. So this is good because it's always put everybody on your toes, and where the wrongs are, it will be recognized and corrected quickly. And this should continue until no woman dies again in labor in this country. So the online, so there's also, I only have 1 minute, so I'll just close. The online reporting of abuse is there and all, but we need to be careful about the challenges. The challenges include, the bullying. And one thing I see on WhatsApp groups is diagnosing and prescription. People who are not experts in those areas confidently give you things that you do to make you better. And we have to be very careful of that. So there are many other things that we all know that are dangerous that in the system, which includes bullying, deliberate miscommunication. During the COVID, I see people sit on recognized platforms and tell you things that are so wrong in this country. I'm so shocked. So the disinformation and misinformation is very serious. And so that's why, in conclusion, you have to look at sources that you are sure of, like WHO, Ministry of Health website. If you are not certain, some people can even use the logo of WHO and to make their website look like it's from WHO. So if you are not sure, please call our 1025 and our other lines and clarify. Take the time to do that. And we really appreciate that you could invite us to this. Our Minister of Health will be with you all the way. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Bitey, for sharing your perspective on the safe use of online platforms towards maternal mortality, which is the interest of every woman sitting here. Thank you so much. It's my pleasure to introduce Mr. Sisao. Mr. Sisao is the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education. Following the introduction, I invite you, Mr. Sisao, to come and share your perspective. Thank you. 5 minutes, please. I hope you are not a teacher.
Good morning. My apology for coming late. Thank you, Madam Chairperson, the President, Paradise Foundation, Director of Health Service, Minister of Health, UNICEF Resident Rep, representative of Action Aid, the Gambia, the community representative, women group, teachers and students, the media, all other distinguished personalities here present. Good morning to you all, and thank you for being here with us today. It is indeed my honor and privilege to be with you today to deliver a statement on this important but also a very auspicious occasion. First, I would like to express my heartfelt gratitude to all of you who sincerely commit to this event to make it a success. But I want to specifically applaud Paradise Foundation, not just coming up with this event, but also carving out very smart, clear, and ambitious objectives, which I have no doubt, with the mix of people here present, such objectives shall be achieved before the end of the program. The objective includes explaining the potential risk and benefits that internet offers regarding sex education, establishing advocacy plan to inform policy change, action, and the use of social media, identifying risk, sexual digital content that adolescents are routinely confronted with in daily activities, among many other objectives. These are a few of the objectives that are mentioned. I have a strong belief that this objective will not only be critical in creating safe and stable environment for all, especially the vulnerable groups, women and children, but also will significantly contribute to our nation's development. Therefore, as we seek to achieve these objectives, it is important to note that the rise in technology may pose innumerable risks, and this may include the precipitated image abuse, online violence against women, girls, men, and boys. However, technology does offer promising methods to addressing most of our challenges, including sexual and reproductive health. In such a dilemma, education has been identified as a tool for positive change. For example, with the right educational approach, social media platform has demonstrated that potential to mobilize support against sex and gender-based violence, and well-meaning individual can therefore use it to eliminate such violence, ensuring that survivors get their justice deserved. We at the Ministry of Education, we are very conscious of the importance of our role in not only responding intellectually to the needs of the community through the provision of relevant quality education, but we also will continue to strive to ensure that safe and enabling environment is created for the learners and the personnel who make teaching and learning possible. This principle is well grounded in our education policy 2016 to 2030. According to the UNHCR, sex and gender-based violence is a physical and emotional violence in form of force, threat, and deception against another because of their sex or gender. Many victims and survivors of sex and gender-based violence are women and girls, although men and boys can also be targeted. According to WHO report 2020, 45% of women worldwide has experienced physical and sexual violence. There is particularly high incidence in Africa, where 55.6% of women have experienced such violence. These have serious implications. The physical effects are obvious, but the psychological effect can be less evident but more lasting. Lack of community support and trauma can affect the survivor mental health. the survivor can find that their sense of safety, dignity, and independence is threatened. Such violence can also impact on our future generation. Indeed, it can lead to a situation where more boys and girls would think that such attitudes and actions are normal. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, in conclusion, therefore, it is important to reiterate that sex and gender-based violence has serious implications on victims, and many young people have survived such experience. The society as a whole has a responsibility to ensure that our environments are free from such violence. We should reflect on our collective responsibility of engaging adolescents in collaborative approach when discussing technology, teenager, and sex, etc. But more importantly, we ought to take action to end this violence by empowering the young people to take charge of their destiny and become the adult they want to be. I thank you all for this opportunity.
Thank you, PS. We have had perspectives from CSO. We've had perspectives from the government through critical ministries. Let's take a shift and hear from the community. I am pleased to invite Rohinjai, a youth representative, to share her perspective on the theme.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم السلام عليكم ورحمة الله maa ngi nuyu képp koo xam ne teew nga fii tey di leen jox yéen ñëpp seen wàccuwaay. My name is Rohinjai. I am a 31-year-old woman who has encountered and seen a lot of challenges that many youths in this generation are experiencing. I schooled in the Gambia. I served as a head girl at that school during my time. I was a smart, well-outspoken, and vibrant young lady then. However, along the line, I dropped out of my 11th grade due to teenage pregnancy. My entire life changed. I was not going to school anymore. My parents and society were disappointed and judged me. My child's father was nowhere to be found. The only support I got was from my brave mother, whom I am so proud of. I suffered Thank you. I suffered complications at a point. I was in coma. I was hospitalized for 3 weeks at the Banjul General Hospital. All that was due to teenage pregnancy. So today I stand here before you, ladies and gentlemen, and to all my young sisters and brothers who are students here today, to look at me as one of yourself, that there was a time I was in a uniform and I was in your position. I was a very smart young lady. If I was not, then I would not have been a head girl of a whole school. And I am so proud. And I am so happy today and proud that I have a witness to that. And that is my former principal, Mr. Njai, who was then the principal of Muslim High School. At a point I was in that coma, I thought I had died, which was even more traumatizing. After my child turned 3 months old, I decided to go back to school and never gave up on myself. I used to leave my daughter, or rather my son, with my mother, who was able then an SOS mother. She was very brave. She was determined to see that I make it in life. So she took up the sacrifice and took care of my son while I go back to school. After my child turned 3 months old, every day when I close school, I would go pick him up from my mother's workplace, do all the necessities that he needs as a mother, breastfeed him with my breast, and then take care of him as a mother should do, whilst I was very young. It was a difficult moment for me of my life because returning back to school was no good. Instead of society to support me or my peers to support me, I was bullied, I was pointed at, and a lot of people were disappointed at me. I was shamed by my peers. I had no choice but to look for another school. Moving on, I never gave up despite all the hurdles in life. I concentrated on my education because I knew I could make it. I graduated high school with flying colors. I was opportune to travel to Sweden for a 3-month course in information technology. As I thought my life was getting back on track, boys and girls, parents, ladies and gentlemen, I again got pregnant for my second child, who is my daughter. For my second child, it broke me into pieces, for I was not ready for it, and I did not know how it happened. Because I felt and listened to a young boy then, I was driven into having sex at the wrong time. Because I was not prepared for it, I was disappointed at myself. Blamed myself and made a promise to myself to stay strong for my children. Because I am all they've got, because their fathers were nowhere to be seen. So boys and girls who are here present today wearing uniforms, please look at me as an example and please make a U-turn and make the right choices. If I am brave enough here to stand here before you today, it's not because I am stronger than any of you. It's because I want you not to make the same mistakes I have made. It's because I want you to be better citizens of this nation. It's because I love my country, the Gambia, and I want to see each and every one of you flourishing in life. After a few years, my daughter became a survivor again of gender-based violence. My family was affected. Society judged me again and stigmatized me because I stood as a brave mother to take up the right decision and to report the case. No one turned to my aid. The only place I could turn to was 1313 for help. I got the necessary support, alhamdulillah, and I am grateful for them for the rest of my life. I am grateful to Paradise Foundation. I was sheltered. I had to leave the home where the incident happened because I stood up to take the right decision. Nobody was there to support me. We all know how the society is. I was sheltered with my child for a month whilst receiving psychosocial support. I am still affected. My mental health is still deteriorated. But I am fighting hard every day, day by day, never to give up on myself. Because I am all my children got, and I am all that they need in order to be better citizens. I picked up my pieces of life. I decided to move on from my previous neighborhood so I could have a peace of mind. I moved so far away from all the things that I loved, from all the people that I knew, just because I was doing the right thing. It helped me as I moved to a remote area where no one knows what happened to my daughter. I had been through a lot of challenges as a young growing mother. I had to leave all that I love, and I need to go away from all that I love just because I want to be there for my daughter, for her not to ever go again through the situation that she has been through. I want young people to know that we all make certain choices in life, good or bad. However, that does not define who we are as a person. You are worth it. You are strong. You can break boundaries. Be proud of what you have achieved in life. Be respectful to your parents, most especially, and please listen to your teachers, because all they want for you is for you to be better people tomorrow. Stay away from all forms of drug abuse, please, I beg you. Alhamdulillah, I was never part of that. And sex. Engage in sex when it is the right time. Do not listen to anyone that is dragging you into it, for it will not bring you nothing but tears into your eyes. You will be proud of what you have become. That is, if you decide to make the right choices. I thank you all for your kind attention. Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you all. Please take your seats.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Li ma doon wax nag du lu yomba pour wax ko parce que du ñëpp ñoo ko mun waaye soo gisee ma génn si pour wax dama musa nekk nit koo xam ne dama musa gëm suma boppa dama musa nekk nit koo xam ne ku musa dëgër laa te gëm naa ne tey soo gisee tey yàlla dimbale ma ba ma mun a taxaw fi seen kanam wax is because I have a very mental state of mind that is very strong, and it's because I am a very, very strong woman. Bëgg naa wax ak yéen ndaw ñi nga xam ne tey yàlla def na tey yéen a ngay dem school bëgg naa ngeen xam ne there was a time ma nekk si seen position ma daan dem school bi ma doon dem school nag nekkoon naa si school boo xam ne ñëpp ràññee nañ ko si réew mi fii mu di Muslim High School ma nekkoon ak teachers yoo xam ne teachers yu baaxoon lañ teachers yu amoon yërmande ñu amoon principal boo xam ne tam xoolee ñu wut ñu woon kon ay student daf ñu téye woon comme ay doomam man bokkoon naa si ndaw ñi nga xam ne ñu ko jege woon laa lu moo def si school bi I was like the superhero in the school. I was setting good example waaye doomu aadama ak bugaam yàlla ak dogalam gënalut ma nag waaye bi ma loolu dalee balaa maa génn si school boobu nattu bu métti moo ma dal nattu bi ma dal nag mooy dama jëlee ëmba si suma ndaw ki ma ëmbal after mu dem bàyyi ma mu métti woon lool parce que moom xaw ma naka la def ba ëmbal ma tey su ma ko fi waxee ñu bari duñ mun a understand mooy ne li ma dal rek mooy mbugeel dafa dal ku nekka I was young and I was introduced to love ma commencé di buggante di xam mbugeel naka la mel yàlla dogal ma mistake nag dem am ak moom intercourse which was not right so bëgg naa yéen ndaw ñi fi nekka ngeen bàyyi xel seen boppa bu baax surtout jigéen ñi ngeen sàmm seen boppa bu baax te xam ne yéen ëllëg yéen ay nekk yaay ëllëg réew mi yéen la yaakaar ëllëg yéen ay jur doom yu baax ñi te doom bu baax ku ko bëgg a jur danga war a nekk yaay bu baax ngeen di déglu seen yaay yi ak seen papa yi si kër gi di déglu seen teachers yi as well ndax kenn si ñoom bëggut lu leen di lor ku si wax si ñoom lu baax la leen bëggal am na yenn yoo xam ne dama dee toog di ko dégg daf ma dee tiital parce que man time bi maa dem school ñemew maa def loolu ñemew maa taxaw saaga suma teacher ñemew maa taxaw suma teacher wax ma wax parce que dama ko doon xoolee comme suma ndey bi ma bàyyi si kër gi ak suma yaay maa ngi santal ngërëm nag suma yaay ji nga xam ne jigéen góor la ndax xam naa ne tey bu du toon moom du ma doon mën a taxaw fii xëj na tey dee naa because of teel a jël biir te jotut yàlla defoon na ma tëddoon lopitaan lu dem ba 3 semaines ba ñëpp foogoon ne dama dee loolu yëpp lu ko waraloon mooy tollu ma woon si waxtu mun a jur doom tollu ma woon si am kàttan bi ak doole bi pour mun a nekk yaay waaye suma yaay soutenir ma suma yaay jàppale ma musul maa bàyyi gannaaw kon ñun dañ war a téye suñ yaay yi fonk suñ yaay yi dee leen di déglu seen yaay yi ndax yaay boo fi gis tey lépp lu mu wax doomam lu ko njëriñ la te ku nekk bëgg nga ëllëg sa doom gën la tey nag doole bi ma am pour mun a yore ñaari doom muy ku góor ak ku jigéen ñu bari xamuñ ko si man parce que su ma génnee all I do is dama dee nekk di ree di kafa nit ñi kenn xamul ne maa ngi jànkuwanteeg ak ay jafe-jafe parce que am na jafe-jafe yoo xam ne boo ko waxee nit ñi duñ la si jàppale lu du dañ laa ree te société bi noonu la mel kon nañ leen bàyyi wante xel ñu bañ a nekk di joojante ñu bañ a nekk di joxante ay baaraam ñu jàppalante te xam ne Gambia suñ réew la ñun ñoo moom réew mi ñoo ko mun a defar te niñ ko mun a defaree mooy ñu jàppalante ñu nekk benn ñu buggante ñu yërëmante internet bi ngeen bàyyi xel li ngeen see wax bàyyi xel li ngeen see post jigéen amul dara lu dul boppam te ëllëg mu ngee ñëw te am na ñoo xam ne lépp loo fa dugal liñ mun mooy jël ko séef ko fa bés dina jot nga war a nekk nit ñu jël ko génne ko yaaxa sa àdduna kon bàyyi leen xel li ngeen di wax ci internet bi ngeen jëlee ko as a plateforme ngeen jàngee fa waaye bu leen fa def lu leen di lor bu leen engage ci loo xam ne daf leen di indil loraange ndax man ci li ma jaar delloo na suma àdduna gannaaw yaaxal na ma lu bari te indil na ma ay jafe-jafe itam yu bari nga war a nekk di toppatoo sa boppa war a jox sa boppa sa gëda nga jox ko ñaari doom yoo xam ne gisuñ seen baay yow lañ am yaay seen ndey yaay seen baay suñ lekkee yow la suñ solee yow la suñ nelawee yow la dafa metti ñuy waxati loolu nga ñëwati am doom bu jigéen bugga ko di ko saama nga génn a dem di jaayi ndig am loo indi pour dimbale ko nga ñëw fekka nattu dal ko nattu boobu noonu dal ko nga taxaw pour def si li war comme yaay àdduna yëpp joxoñ la baaraam ne da nga soxor ba ñu ma si woon nag ku ma xas ba ñu ma si ku ma ŋàññi taxaw naa def lépp loo xam ne lu ma wala def la te ñi ma jàppale mooy woon Paradise Foundation li ma def rek mooy jël suma téléphone call 13 wax leen li ma naxari ñu direct ma fi ma war a dem ma defal suma doom li ko war suma doom joxoñ nañ ko baaraam si koñ bi school bi mu nekkoon sonnoon na fa torop parce que ay moromi xaleem yëgoon nañ li ko dal ku nekk su demee def day ñib si ak jooy and she was so intelligent like her mother every exam su indiwut 4 seconds la moo indi and alhamdulillah she took after my brain so because of nattu boobu noonu mu jaral ma génn fi ma dëkka yépp dem dëkka fu sori tey fi ma dëkka sori na sori waaye boo xam ne nii ku ma ko fi wax tey di nga ne kii naka la manage pour ñëw fii waxtu bi mu fi ñëw yépp nag defuma ko ngir dara lu dul dimbale suma doom dimbale suma yaay dimbale réew mi ak def li nga xam ne moo war su ko defee xale boobu noonu di suma doom li ko dal du dalaat benn doom si réew mi ki ko def ma teg ko fi ma ko war a teg def ko li ma ko war a def bu ëllëgee du suma doom rek laa séef mboolem ku fi nekk ak si réew mi sa doom séef naa ko jërë ngeen jëf kon nañ leen bàyyi wante xel ñu jàppalante jërë ngeen jëf kontaan naa.
Thank you again for repeating that testimony in the local language. I'm sure most of us got the message now. A ray of light is a ray of hope. Let's all leave behind darkness and step towards the bright path. Just my comment. Thank you so much. We will continue the sessions, and I now invite our Bajens from the testimony of a survivor who also shared testimony of her daughter. Let's hear what Bajens have to share with us. Auntie Bajen Louis Job, please have the floor. Thank you.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Jërëgeen jëf ma ne ko jigéen ñi am naa yaakaar ne tey suñ bés la man nag lu ma jaaxal tey si jigéen ñi dañ toog sedd lool te xam ne bés bi suñ bés la bési jigéen warula mel nii dañ war di kaf di ree te xam ne without ñun réew mi du dem kon jigéen moo amee réew Rohi Njaay jërëjëfati jàmbaar rek a mun lii jàmbaar rek a mun a taxaw di wax history am ba man mi taxaw sax mun naa am ne am na lu ma daal waaye maa ngi ko gas suul waaye jërëjëf li nga wax loolu rek mooy dëgg parce que dama ci xam dara Paradise Foundation dañ ma yónni woon ma ñëw si yow ñu jàppale la kon yow li nga wax dëgg rek nga wax kontaan nañ nag bi ndaje bu mel nii mu ne am nga taxaw wane sa bopp jërëjëfati Njaay jigéen ñi bés bi day suñ bés la te soo ko seetloo rek suñ bés la parce que ñun jigéen ñi ñoo jur njaboot gi ñooy yaayi njaboot gi ñooy bàjjeni njaboot gi man nag tey dama taxaw yaay taxaw bàjjen parce que bàjjen laa ci kër gi waaye nag yaay laa ci yéen mag laa ci yéen tanta laa ci yéen maam laa ci yéen man dama foog ne ñun jigéen ñi fi mu ne nii surtout yaay yi surtout yaayu ndaw yi yu nekk ci kër gi soo ko seetloo ñun yaay yi mag yi tey suñ kilifa yi dañ amoon fuñ jaara ñun mooy yar ak teggin sutura ak taraanga ak xam mag ñun lu ñu suñ kilifa yi ooyoon suñ ñu ko aayee duñ ko defati waaye li ma jaaxal mooy internet bi saxa TikTok bi moom tas na àddina tas réew tas kër yàqa njaboot gi su ñoo wax nag internet bi ak TikTok bi duñ bàyyi suñ bopp ñun ñëpp a kasaara fi mu ne nii ñun ñëpp ñoo nekk si TikTok bi suba bëccëg ngoon TikTok day dañ ko indi woon tegal ñu mobile ne mu ngi nii tegal ñu internet bi nag luñ si waxoon mooy ngeen jàngee ci àddina li leen di yóbbu kanam waaye du lu leen di yóbbu gannaaw ñaari yëf lañ si def nag bii dem kanam ak bii dem gannaaw waaye man foog naa ne bi ñu war a yóbbu kanam boobu suñ njaboot gi dañ ko fàtte boobu mooy lan benn nga xam sa boppa ñaar nga xam liñ la ko joxee ñetta nga xam liy sa soxla loo ci war a def yéen students yi dem school man dama foog ne yéen su ngeen demee bene yéen da ngeen civilise da ngeen dem school seen parents si sonn di leen fayal suba bëccëg ngoon te macha allah seen éducation moo gën a cher te defu leen ci dara loo xam ne baax na am na ay certain xale yoo xam ne soo leen ooyee soo leen newee ne what is your name sax duñ la ko wax préfère nañ fóot seen uniforme passé ko ba mu baax ñu dal di sol wekkoo seen baag jël seen mobile dugga nekk ci mobile bi di wëraalu rek suñ nekkee ci classe bi it moom la ñoo amee li teacher bi di wax sax xamatuñ ko su ngeen doon seet fi baax ngeen koo seet ni kon duñ sonn taxaw fii di wax waaye di bad side foofu ngeen amal affaire waaye dama leen yëgal ne na ngeen fàttaleku ne yéen ay ndawi ëllëg ñun mun nañoo wax ne suñ wàll wéy na ngeen topp internet bi suba bëccëg ngoon su guddee ngeen tëdda sangu ak mobile bi doo leen nelaw ba boor set kuñ si ee su fajaree ngeen kof nelaw kuñ si ee ne pare nga dem sangu pour dem school nga nekk ci lal bi di boobali di xëccu di def yu kenn xamu man dama foog ne ñun yaay yi dafa am ay certain kilifa yoo xam ne ni ñoo yaree seen njaboot gi dañ ko war a seetaat ñun yaay yi dañ war a jatluwaat ñu seetaat suñ bopp si suñ njaboot gi parce que ñun fiyaawuñ ak suñ njaboot gi ñun suñ kilifa yi dañ ñu yar tey ñun niñ mel nii suñ kilifa yee ñu ko woon waaye nag dañ jëloon advice di déglu di dégg waaye yéen parewu leen ko ndax yaayi ndaw yi jur doom yi tamit am nañ time pour toog pour waxtaan ak yéen déedéet yàkkamti nañ ku leen nuyu si ba ñu la demal nga fay fi nga fay bëgguñ koo xam fi nga nekk bëgguñ koo xam kon foog naa ne kooku ba tey doo nangul yaay internet bi war nañ see jóg ñu taxaw waxtaan ak suñ doom yi mobile yi ñu jël ko si xale yi su weekend nee ñu jox leen ko ñi nga xam ne nag ne ñoom dañ ne jeek lañ suñ nekkee ci kër gi doon xaleel suñ génnee doon ci mbedd mi mooy ñi nga xam ne ñoo nekk grade 9 ak 10 ak 11 ak 12 ñoo ñooy jeek ñi kon foog naa ne war ngeen a góorgóorlu seen yaay yi sonn nañ fay nañ school fees jigéen ñi daw nañ jigéen ñi def nañ lu nekk pour njaboot gi baax waaye ba tey yéen fi ñu leen jëmee mënu leen koo gis dañ waxoon nag ne njabooti kanaara la ñu jox leen di wéy ngeen di dem waaye man dama ci ànduloon waaye foog naa ne ñun jigéen ñi war nañoo toogaat fi mu ne nii jëlaat liñ leen joxoon ñu jiitu njaboot gi toppa si suñ gannaaw ndax ñu mun leen a régler jërë ngeen jëf jërë ngeen jëf.
Thank you so much, Bajen. Bajen mooy baay. Bajen wax na. So, Bajen has thrown the ball in the court. We have our responsibilities as mothers and caregivers. The children also have their responsibilities. I'm sure all these things will be clear before we leave this hall. I now invite Bajen Ami Jatanjai.
ala baraka ala baraka ala baraka assalamu alaikum badi mandinkol ana kam moy lali mbal kontonna bin contenta pour ngalo jang kadiya malie ñim programme o mi yalon ko Paradise Foundation ani ana ñol min ya makoy ya kere kere buña musolye fondinkelye International Women's Day pour ka musol la ñaatota nin dindingol la ñaatota adin kol ya ko mi banko kan mi yalon ko dindingol kake nga kacha jang ntele kacha mbe min folo fola mbe hay tebulo konton na mbe alfal be konton na wala mu ñinti ko interneto mi mu social media nga dindingol fole bari ntol bal do bije nka tara konol na futuwol nka diyamu wolto nin sina la problemol nka diyamu wolto ni nga fengo feng lom mi yalon ko nyimbe mo bara malale ntol ka fo wolto sila ntol bal nin ka wasi falke dindingol be mu nekela iba folale ko nyinem to nyaati andung ba kendo wala ka dinkendo wulu andung dindingol mbe ngalon ne ko wolle mun tolla soma alfati bayrabe wala nyama ntol bal nyanta katalale nga ku kendo fo isaje dingol dale bulaje gambie ta nyaato banko ta nyaato nimbota je ntewe dame mala wala mu mimbu durakoti sani gambie jang musol ka male kel ka ma dindingol ka ma abala fa warta fengo mi yalon ko ni yama ake nyamandile fengo mi yalon ko ni yama ila jata kende ay buka soto no wo fengo nyanta bulala le bulo ma nyanna mala mbe bali be danila mbe dindingol danila yewo bula amenke kit kuti mi yalon ka beti atale mang leen di gërem di leen sant lima wax rek moy dañ laal ci mbiri xale school yi te foog naa man war naa cee mun a wax dara waaye xale li school ku leen gën a déggal boppa amul ci àdduna seen mobile la ñoo jël te doo musa ñëw jël seen mobile fekk ñu ubbi ko dañ koo log saa yoo buggee jëm pour pootu leen yaa ngi fekk ñu ngi ko log te loolu nekk na loo xam ne war ngeen cee bàyyi xel ñun yéen la ñoo waxal fi mu nekk nii ñun suñu wàlla wéy na yéen la ñoo waxal ak li gën a daw yaram mooy sàmmaleen seen cëri suma benn mentoo barki déema wax na ko mu ne jigéen dafa war a fonka cëram muy aji kumba dafe ka mu ne ndax sa cër moom nga am sa cër soo ko saamee si mbedd mi yow looy dese man day géej naa dégg ne doomi diw dafa tëdda xaaral ñu dem fecca wala ñu dem wone ko géej naa am xale yi bàyyi leen seen xel li nga xam ne mooy seddal xoli yaay mooy nga yax sa doom ba màgga ba mu ta sëy nga maye ko li wax si moom mu fekk ko fa jëkkëram fonka la fonka ko loolu dara daaxu ko waaye bàyyi leen di wax ne suma yaay daf ma bañ suma papa daf ma bañ suma sista daf ma bañ yow baaxuloo defuloo lu baax waxuloo lu baax nga ne kenn du la ko wax loolu foo ko wéer wéeruloo ko fenn tey nag moom dinañ dal suñ boppa ñun yaay yi waaye yéen it dinañ dal seen kaw ndax ñun yéen la ñu yaakaar nit nag ki nga yaakaar ëllëg danga ko war a toppatoo danga ko war a waxal loolu moo tax ñuy leen di waxal waaye ñun lañ yéen lañ gën a bugga li fi am nag tey ñu ngee ñaan képp ku fi jóge tey muy sudeen di jigéen dellu leen fi ngeen jóge ngeen waxtaan ak nit ñi wax leen ne xalaat bu rafet bii la Paradise Foundation am ak ñim àndal ñoo jëf liggéey bu rafet bi jaarale ko ci International Women's Day gërëm naa ñëpp sant leen waaye dinaa gërëm Roxi Njaay balaa may bàyyi sant la gërëm la ndax am na jàmbaar ñoo taxaw fii naka la jaañ mu ne lii jigéen ñu bari mënuñ ko te dégg la because right now Paradise Foundation case yu bari lañ am yoo xam ne demee ne nii ñu ngi wax Paradise Foundation ne gàcca njaaraama jàmbaar soo ko mayul dara nga ne ko ñeme nga waaye Paradise Foundation ñeme nañ kon nag jërë leen jëf maa ngi bàyyi fi suma wax
a baraka bajen ko dindingol bamal lafitele gisole to ñakkarango muta ako dindingol alla iPhone 14 Pro Max ha albe quantitative aptitude min code ñol biye sali o code leke jeetu anda ko mo buko code je bar bajen ko the way you value your iPhone 14 Pro Max, that's how they value you as parents. So they need to talk to you and advise you so that you follow the straight path. Thank you so much. Bajeni jeringen jef kontaan nañ torop amuñu sen fay. Jeringen jef, thank you. I will now conclude this introductory session with inviting Hussein Cisse. Hussein Cisse is the president of the Voice of the Young and the Cisse keynote speaker.